Vroom. Well, you know it's bad when the Hollinator comes here. And man, is this bad. Look at this. This is a custom Corvette. One of the very first Hot Wheels. And it is in horrendous shape. Oh man, what have I gotten myself into? So broken windshield, broken hood, and it looks like the pins are gone too. Don't know what I'm going to do about that. It's been painted yellow by someone. Someone's tried to restore it, I guess. Or at least customize it. Axles are trash. It is just pretty much every aspect of this car needs help. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see how the interior looks. It's stuck in there. Looks like it's stuck with paint. Ooh. So, the interior has some paint on it, and it's not in great shape, but not horrible. Pretty typical for something this age. So this windshield is definitely broken. This is not salvageable. There's nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to have to try and make a new one. Now normally I would just buy a replacement, but I've looked online and on eBay, everywhere I've looked, and no one has them in stock right now. So that means it's up to me. That's going to be a challenge. I've never seen the inside of one of these before. This is my first time. And yeah, look at this. See, there's a pin. Let's see if I can zoom in even more. So there should be a pin there and a pin there for the hood. And I do have a replacement hood. I was able to buy that. It's supposed to go in like that. And you see there's supposed to be pins that this clips onto. Which means that's more work for me. Yay! We'll get it stripped off. I'm not too worried about the body at all. I am worried about this. Let's look at the base. Okay, so this actually isn't too bad. I'm going to have to rebend these axles, but they're not broken or anything. So, since this isn't as bad a shape as it is, if I try to pull this off, it could pull the bearing with it. Lots of times I risk it, but when they're this bad, I'm not. And there's no point in trying to save these wheels. So, just cut them off. I'm not trying to repair this windshield. What I'm trying to do is create it smooth enough surface so I can make a mold from it. So there's some dips in here. I'm going to use super glue as kind of filler, which I'll sand down later. This is a long process. Now this base is going to be dipped in acid and polished in order to get the corrosion off of it, but I'm not sure how the acid's going to respond to this paint, so I want to get it off first so I don't have to worry about it. So the body's going to go in the stripper tank. I'll probably take it out after a day. I usually leave them in overnight. However, this is not going to stay in for long. This is the sulfamic acid. It will eat away at the very hard corrosion that's on this base. All those bubbles is the acid working. In the meantime, I'm going to just get this paint off with the sanding stick, and then I'll throw this in the electrosonic cleaner to get it all cleaned up. So the base looks really good, and I bent the axles back to the best of my ability. I did that off camera because it's really finicky. I'm going to put the wheels on. I'll probably have to fine tune them when the wheels are on, and then that'll pretty much finish this base, and we can focus on the hard part of this project. So these just plop right on, just like that. There we go. So this body isn't horrible. I mean, there's corrosion. You can see all the dark spots. That's where it's been exposed to the air and it's corroded. But there's no real bad pits. It's not terrible. this corrosion is really hard. It's hard to sand off, so I'm going to put it in the acid to eat away at that. And it's just going to make life easier for me. So here's the glass. Now this is not possible to fix, so this is not what we're going to use, but we're going to use this glass to make another glass. So I've got it pretty smooth here. It's not perfect. There's still a little dip in there, but I filled it in pretty well. The underside does not matter for what I'm going to do with it, but what I do need to do is kind of create a mold. This is a couple step process. I'm going to actually use Play-Doh for the first step. You're thinking this is crazy, I know. But I need to set it in the Play-Doh, and then I'm going to use some silicone. Actually, no, I'm going to use some resin to fill around it, and I'm going to make a rigid, like a, well, it's hard to, just watch. You'll see what I'm going to do. So I just took it out of the acid and washed it off. It's still wet, but look how black it is. It's actually kind of cool. But that's a chemical reaction between the acid and the corrosion, so it shows how much corrosion was on there. So you might be thinking, well, that looks worse than before. Well, take some steel wool, and it should, yeah, shine right up. See? Not bad. This will still need to be zinc plated, of course, but it's going to look good. Those posts were way smaller than I realized. Look how that's not much metal around that, but we got them. Now those marks up there, I tried to sand that out, but they're too deep. And if I sanded it down so that they didn't show up anymore, then that would totally change the shape of this roof. And I'm not willing to do that, so it's just going to have to show up. I can't putty them either because this is going to be spectra flamed, and putty and spectra flame just don't mix. I hope this works. I hope this works. If this doesn't work, then I'm gonna cry. What are you doing? This makes no sense. Just keep watching. Keep watching. I got a plan. And if you're seeing this video, it means the plan worked. Boom. I want to show you this car my daughter got me for Valentine's Day. It's always special when your kid gets you something. Metal base, plastic top. They don't make them like they used to, but it rolls good. It's a fun toy. So, let's see here. Let's take this Johnny Lightning, and we'll put that one right there because nothing more special than something your kid gives you. So here it is all shined up. Looks pretty good. So this is actually really tricky. Zoom in for you. So you see, I need to create the pins here because the pins are broken off for the hood to stay in. But lining them up is tricky. So I'm going to tape the hood where I want it to stay. And I've got a brass bar here that I'm gonna lay in. I really wanted to solder this in, but it's just not gonna be possible. I did practice soldering, and I was able to get a brass bar soldered to this casting, but it was at the same, in order for the solder to stick, it was at the same temperature as the melting point of the casting. You see where I melted the hood there, and I actually melted back here too. So, yeah, I've got to figure out another way. I know there are ways to solder. I've seen people do it, but I haven't figured it out. So, for me, I'm going to be using this metal glue. And it's not as strong as soldering for sure, but it should be fine for the shelf. Just want to be able to open and close the hood. Hopefully I didn't glue the hood to the body. We'll see. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Lines up pretty well. So I think now we're ready to paint this guy. So the Play-Doh trick worked perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And I'm not going to use this. This is just going to be used in order for me to make the windshield. So in order to that, I'm going to need So this is a mold press, and what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to take this sheet of plastic, it's going to melt it, I'm going to bring it down over top of my windshield, and it should make a new windshield. Maybe, we'll see. Oh no! So I had a little mishap. I hit the vacuum with my leg, but it ended up being just fine. No problem. It's not perfect because this isn't perfect. Got a little waviness there. And that's going to automatically go to the mold. No problem. You see it's a little wavy, but man, isn't this going to be so much better than that. Let me cut it out. So that looks so good. I am so pleased with this. Oh, wow. So these windshields, if you're going to buy a reproduction, it's going to cost $12 to $15 shipped. And that machine cost about $80. So I just need to make 6 windshields for it to pay for itself. That looks so good. This opens up so many opportunities for me to do different stuff. This is awesome. I'm not super big on the purple, but man, that's a nice paint job. Just that paint just is beautiful. I ended up using the red line purple because my daughter wanted a purple car, and boy, that looks good. So really all we have to do is put this thing together. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Now that's what I call a restoration. Oh, that looks good. Oh man. If you remember, this was the before, and now we've got the after. And man, I enjoyed doing this. These red lines are so easy to restore. This one was a little bit more complex. I tried some new stuff. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.